Good evening, hockey fans, and a welcome to Ultimate Sports Media Watch-Alongs. Tonight, we are live in the nation's capital of the US of A as the Utah Mammoth roll into DC to take on the Washington Capitals in a game with serious playoff implications on both ends. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the broadcast. My name is Jaric Rubel. So excited to have you here with me for this big Tuesday night matchup between these two clubs as the calendar has shifted here into the month of March, and we are now just 6 weeks away from the Stanley Cup playoffs. And in this game for Washington, the spotlight once again will be put on Alex Ovechkin, the captain of this Washington Capitals team. The superstar sniper snapped a 7-game goalless drought in a big way on Saturday against the Canadiens. He scored twice in a 6-2 loss to the Habs, and he now leads Washington with 24 goals and 50 points on the season, reclaiming the lead from Tom Wilson. But despite generating offense, head coach Spencer Carberry of the Capitals said the difference was, quote, catastrophic mistakes in that game against Montreal, and Washington just dropped 2 of its last 8 games, and yet they sit 2 points back of the Boston Bruins for the final Eastern Conference playoff spot, and 6 behind the New York Islanders for the third in the Metro. And Dylan Strome said it best for Washington: you got to stack wins and get some help along the way. A major concern for the Caps, it's been the power play, as they are 0 for their last 10 since the Olympic break and operating at just 15.5% on the season. That's 31st in the NHL. And if they're going to climb, their unit must ignite for this Washington team. Meanwhile, Utah arrives here searching for answers after being blanked 4-0 by the Chicago Blackhawks on Sunday. Defenseman Mikhail Sergachev called the effort, quote, disconnected, and head coach Andre Tourigny said that the loss needs to hurt in this race that's so tight there's no room for passengers. And the Mammoth are tied here for the wild card spot with the Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference. They both sit at 66 points, clinging to those 2 spots in the final 2 spots in the Western Conference. That's just 3 points clear of the San Jose Sharks, the Los Angeles Kings, and the Nashville Predators. Utah's going to need to lean on goal scorer Dylan Guenther. He leads the team with 27 tallies. He'll be back on the top line tonight, skating alongside captain Clayton Keller. And Keller leads this Mammoth club with 40 assists for 58 points total, with 18 goals himself. So playoff pressure between these two desperate teams, and 2 massive points are up for grabs here tonight. Tonight's starting goaltenders, and most importantly, the drop of the puck is just around the corner. You're listening to the NHL on Ultimate Sports Media with Jaric Rubel. The Capitals hosting the Mammoth next, live right here on YouTube. Welcome back into the broadcast live here on Ultimate Sports Media. It's a watch along here in the National Hockey League between the Capitals and the Mammoth. Jaric Rubel, glad you're here with me live on a Tuesday night. Let's take a look at tonight's starting goaltenders for this game between Utah and Washington. In goal for the Mammoth, it'll be Karel Vejmelka. Leading the way for the Mammoth as he's got a 28-16-2 record on the year, 2.63 goals against average, a .901 save percentage, and he is tied with Andrei Vasilevsky for the league lead in wins. He'll be opposed by Logan Thompson in the blue paint for the Capitals. He's got a 21-16-4 record this season, a 2.40 goals against average, along with a .913 save percentage and 2 shutouts. Logan Thompson also represented Team Canada at the Olympics in Milano Cortina, and over his last 3 starts has a 1.68 goals against average with a .937 save percentage. It'll be the PLD Pierre-Luc Dubois line out there against the Nick Schmaltz line for the Mammoth as Dubois and the Capitals control off the draw, and they ice it right away, but we are underway here in the nation's capital. So an icing here by Washington 9 seconds in, sends an O-zone faceoff down to our right for the Mammoth, who are attacking left to right in this first period as they're wearing their road white uniforms with the black pants, with the black lettering that goes diagonal across that says Utah, with the lettering and numbers being black outlined with a light blue. Capitals win the draw to the left of their goaltender Thompson, and they head out to center. Connor McMichael going right to left over the Mammoth line, dropped it for Farivari. He's free into the backhand, and a save made, a sharp one to start by Vejmelka. Rebound to Keller on the far wing as he'll get the red line and snap it in for the Mammoth, as it'll go in the trapezoid, and Dylan Gunther will get there first. In the far corner, Gunther gets his stick lifted by Sandin. The puck comes free to the near corner down to our right. Here's a shot by Dursey, deflected off the side of the net by Schmaltz as it came back to Sandin on the near side. Goes rink wide now out to center, and it'll be played into the Mammoth zone, no icing, as it's dumped down the ice by Dubois. No Alexei Protas in this game for the Washington Capitals. He's out tonight due to personal reasons, so Hendrix Lapierre rejoins the lineup on the fourth line. He'll center between Duhaime and Ethan Frank. Meanwhile, the Mammoth control in their own zone from the right point. A shot by Dursey got blocked to the near circle. Trying to clear, it's Nick Dowd. He can't. Here's Kraus trying to center for Peterka. Couldn't get it to him. Now Sergachev on the far wall tried to send it to the net, but it went off a skate. And out to center it goes for Dowd and the Caps. Played it on the far wall. Delayed offsides if Washington touches it, though, so they don't. The Mammoth take back over, and both teams make changes with on the near wing Hayton controlling for Utah. He snapped it into the Washington zone. To the near corner it goes for Roy to leave behind for Strome, and Strome on his backhand will lift it down the far wing and into Mammoth ice. Oli Mata on it now for Utah, and it's sent this way up the near wing for McBain to tip it in back to Capital ice. Dylan McElrath behind the Capital net trying to move it up the near wing. He does to Dylan Strome, and Strome's over the logo far wall. Here is McElrath with a bomb, and that got blocked by Ian Cole in behind, as that was a big slap shot from the far circle on the right wing by McElrath, but it didn't make it to the net. Meanwhile, Utah's Hayton back up the near wing, played it into the corner for Yamamoto. touched it on his backhand up to the right point for John Marino. His little flip shot got deflected to the far corner. Ovechkin on it for Washington, having trouble clearing, but gets a little bit of help, and now unable to clear as well as McElrath. Yamamoto back into the far circle, centered, came back to him, and he put it through the goal mouth on the near wing Marino. Good shift here for Utah's fourth line as they're trying to make some changes on the fly. At the right point, it's Marino for Carcone, playing it back in the near corner. Marino can't get there. Kerfoot fresh on the ice does. Left it along the far boards for Stenlund. Kevin Stenlund here, the center on this fourth line, trying to stick handle through a phone booth and does pass Strome. Up to the far point, it's sent this way for Marino. Back across, it goes off the stick of Stenlund, back to the far corner in this Capital zone down to our right. Free puck now at the circle. Ovechkin, gassed here, is going to take it, and he'll get the red line and chip it in. The Capitals will change after being hemmed in their defensive zone for almost 2 minutes, but for their pleasure, they did not allow a shot on goal for the Utah Mammoth. So still scoreless, still no shots on goal in this game, as out at center ice is Ethan Frank. Frank here trying to get through center, got cut off, so now Washington will have to try again, as spinning in his own zones Hendrix Lapierre. Cross to neutral ice, he'll go once more. Left it for Sandin at his own blue line. This way for the Slovakian Martin Ferivari to snap it into Mammoth ice. Trying to be controlled by Cole, couldn't. Played it up the far boards, not out. Duhaime will send it back deep. The Capitals will change this. It's behind the Utah net, and it'll be waited for by Ian Cole as his team will do the change. So it'll be 16-15 remaining here in this first period. Nothing happening between the Mammoth and the Capitals. Capitals here in their alternate bald eagle jerseys, as they got the eagle logo with the stars and stripes on their chest. Red jerseys overall with white numbering and navy blue stripes, and they got navy blue pants as well with the red helmets. They control here on the far wing in Mammoth ice, but it's going to be offsides here as Dubois' pass for Roy did not connect onside. So 15:55 remaining here in the first period. Now we get a moment to look at these Capitals lines here without Alexei Protas, as again, he is out tonight due to personal reasons for the Capitals. But on their top line, things remain the same, as it'll be Ovechkin, Strome, and Beauvillier. Second line will consist of McMichael instead of Protas with Dubois and Wilson. Third line, Dowd with Sordiff and Leonard. Fourth line, Lapierre between Duhaime and Frank. Deep pairings are Ferivari with Sandin, Chychrun with Roy, and Van Riemsdyk with McElrath. So face-off here in neutral ice in front of the penalty boxes, won by the Mammoth as Peterka will shove it on into Washington ice. As around the far wall it'll go to be thrown in front. Peterka all alone with a shot, save Thompson, rebound. He got another one with the glove as he was able to stay with it, as Chychrun was on top of Peterka, but two bang shots right on net, and Logan Thompson able to stop both of them and keep it scoreless early on. So look here at the replay. Lawson Krause was able to get this puck and put it on a platter for Peterka, who also might have been clipped up high as we watch the replay, as Chychrun did come in. He never made contact with the face, though, of Peterka. But two strong stops there by Logan Thompson here early in this opening period. So face off to his left. We'll get to the Utah lines here in a moment, as 15:41 remain in this opening frame. The fourth line on the ice again for Utah. It's won by Kerfoot. A shot by Durzi gets blocked. Came back to him at the near circle center. There's a shot. Stenlund blocked. Now another try shot over top of the net. Came back far wall. Kerfoot trade spots at the far point. Gives the puck to Sergachev. Back this way. Kerfoot a one-timer, and that whistled wide on the glove side of Thompson, who catches with the right hand. Meanwhile, puck at the near circle. Going to be sent down the ice by the Capitals. Will this roll far enough for icing? It will. And with 15:15 remaining in the first, another stoppage in play. And Anthony Beauvillier here for the Capitals appears to be in a bit of distress after blocking that shot. He's going to head down into the locker room now. And the Caps already without Protas in this game, could be without another top six forward after he had a big block on the right ankle on that shot by Durzi. Meanwhile, we're back underway. Utah controls off a face-off win at the near circle. Keller's shot got put off to the far wall. Came back to him at the near circle, being defended by Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Clayton Keller, an Olympic gold medalist with Team USA, couldn't keep the puck in. Lost it. McMichael's up the near wing. Couldn't corral it, though, as it's poked away by Nate Schmidt. Came back to neutral ice for Keller. Goes rink wide to the far side for Schmaltz. Schmaltz on the left wing into the Capital zone. Tried to play it to Keller on the near wall. Thompson swooped at it, but he had to play it back in his glove glove after it almost came towards Nick Schmaltz. So at 14:40 to go, he takes a whistle. Offensive zone draw coming up to his left for the Mammoth, who look like this tonight. Their top line consists of Schmaltz, Gunther, and Keller. The second line, Cooley between Lawson Krause and J.J. Peterka. The third line, Hayton with Yamamoto and McBain. Fourth line, Stenlund between Carcodi and Kerfoot. Deep pairings for the Mammoth is Sergachev with Dursey, Schmidt with Marino, and Ian Cole with Olimata. So face-off coming up here to the left of Thompson will be done over after a face-off here was ruled to be dropped unfairly. So it'll be redone between Yamamoto and Dubois. Dubois able to win it clean as it's controlled in the near corner to our right of the Capital zone by Sandin. He'll go to Faravari now, who sits at the left circle. And he moves it up the left wing boards, and it's tipped into Mammoth ice. Rolls slowly to the trapezoid for Vermelka to give it right to Dubois, but he fanned on the shot towards the goal. So now the Mammoth's McBain able to get it. Played it up ahead now into the zone. Schmidt will play it behind. Trying to center it was Hayton to the near wing for Yamamoto. Came back behind the cage now. We're getting tied up. We're 4 sticks. Yamamoto does grab it for Utah. Played it to the near point for Dursey's one-timer to get blocked, and Wilson on it for the Capitals now. We'll play it in behind and leave for Faravari, as his team will get a change with 6 minutes played here in period 1, still without a shot for Washington. 3 for the Mammoth so far. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media's Watch-Alongs. Glad you joined me here on a Tuesday night. Down to our left here in the near corner, Mata roughhoused here off the puck by LaPierre. Now Duhaime trying to shake off a pair of Mammoth skaters as well. Could not, as on the near wing, Logan Cooley, who could skate, gets a step here past Ethan Frank. Got his stick lifted by Chychrun though, and LaPierre takes back over. Gave it back to Chychrun on the near wing, who flips it into Mammoth ice. And Ian Cole will try and wrap it from behind the goal up the far wing. Couldn't get it out as LaPierre backhands it back to the far corner down to our left. And now it rattles into the trapezoid where it comes free to Peterka, who creates some space, and on the far wing sends it this way, right wing for Cooley. Cooley in front of the penalty boxes will chip it off the glass into the Capital zone, and he'll head to change as Krause goes after it in the near corner. Puck going to be picked up now by Kerfoot to the back. Marino, a shot gloved all the way by Thompson, who will hold with 12:57 to go in this opening period. The Capitals still without a shot on net, as it's still scoreless though between the Mammoth and the Capitals here on YouTube. Jaric Rubel back with you here in the nation's capital. War of the Capitals are scoreless against the Utah Mammoth here live on Ultimate Sports Media. Glad you've joined me here on a Tuesday, as this is the first time these two teams have met this season, as they will meet again coming on up in a couple weeks in Utah. But the Capitals here on home ice are currently on a 5-game home win streak, as they're hosting the Mammoth here tonight, and they've kind of own the Mammoth here in terms of the Coyotes too, as you think that, you got to look back to that as well with the history, as it's not the same franchise though it is, but The Capitals here have won 3 of their last 6 against the Mammoth/Coyotes, but the important part is a lot of these have come by shutout, and the way this game's going here early on, I don't want to announcers jinx it early on, but just feels like it's going to be low and boring, so we'll see how the Capitals fare in this matchup, but they have to face some Utah ozone time here as they win an ozone draw, and at the right point, Marino will go across to Cole, came back this way to Keller. Keller here at the near circle, looking to go somewhere. Up high, Marino's one-timer, blocked by Dubois on the slot, cleaned up and out on the near wing by the Capitals. And now Utah will reset at center once again. Near wing, Keller has it from Schmaltz. He wrists it in. Around the goal it goes, and the trapezoid, it's backhanded to the near side by Thompson. Wilson will go around the dasher with it for Sandin. Rasmus Sandin looking for somewhere to go. Can't find a lane as he pirouettes back in his own zone. As the Capitals here with 7 block shots in the opening period, only 4 have gone on net for Utah, but still the Capitals without Protas and now with Beauvillier injured. Now he's back on the ice just as I say that after blocking that shot. They're going to have to try and find some offense here within this top 6. Maybe Ovechkin has it as he's in on the far wing. Played it for Beauvillier, looking for a tip, but it deflected in behind. Now in the slot, Ovechkin, a shot blocker save there by Vejmelka as that one's deflected to the near corner off the Mammoth netminder. Behind the goal now, it's taken by Sergachev. Sprung up ahead now by Keller, trying to hit a man Carcodi ahead and couldn't connect with him as Thompson will play it from behind his own net out to center on the far wing. And now Utah will rekindle in their own zone and make a change with 11.5 to go here in the opening period. Here's Yamamoto for Utah up the right wing boards on the near side into the Capital zone. Put on the brakes at the near circle. He'll leave it there for Hayton. His shot blocked on top of the blue paint by Nick Dowd. Deflected now to Chychrun for the Capitals, who circles his net and backhands it up the far wing out the center. Ian Cole trying to quickly turn it ahead, couldn't connect as Dowd played it right back into the Mammoth zone for Cole and Mata to reset. So they'll do just that. The Mammoth changing again as they've been in full control here for most of this first period. We've played 9 minutes thus far as they're back in on the far left wing. It's McBain dumping it in. From that far corner, Dowd will send it up and out. This might go for an icing. No, says the linesman as he's waving it off. It didn't make it the distance as Nate Schmidt will grab it and park the bus behind the Mammoth net. Stretch pass up ahead. Connects with Peterka on the near wing at the Capital line. Across for Krause, and now he tried to connect with Cooley, but another good defensive stick by Sandin. At the far point, Sergachev had a shot get blocked, kept in though by Krause. In the slide, here's a shot, Peterka never made it to the net, came to the far wall, it's out the center, Marino has to hustle, it could be a 2-on-1, but a good job there with a backhand to just whack it up the far wing and nullify that chance for the Capitals. But they'll waltz back in this time on the near side. Duhaime cut into the slot. Marino tied him up. 2 good defensive plays on this shift for John Marino's Mammoth as now they send it back into Capital ice and get a change of D pairings. On the near wing, the Capitals trying to clear Candace Dursey fresh on the ice on the back end, keeps it in for Utah. Back behind the Capital goal it'll go, and it'll be rode around to the near wing from Sandin to LaPierre. He'll nudge it back to Faravari as the Capitals here have no idea what they're trying to do on their breakouts through neutral ice as the Mammoth have them just confused to high heavens as nothing I've seen here from the Capitals seems like they have a clue as to what they're doing so far in this game. Here's Keller through center over the logo in the Capital blue line. Near wing Schmaltz. To the point it goes for Sergachev. Across Gunther's shot tipped in and never made it to the net. Back behind the goal Schmaltz. Up top Gunther. This way Sergachev's one-timer gobbled up by Thompson. And now some flair up front by Wilson. As you know, he's not doing this to truly be a pest. He just needs to try and ignite his team as he and Dursey now are jawing at one another as Dursey really looks intense. He's saying, say this stuff to my face, looking him right dead in the eye. And Dursey looks incredibly intense. As this is an interesting one, as I can't help but think this isn't really Wilson trying to, be an agitator in the sense that he's mad. I think he's just trying to ignite his team. But Dursey seems locked in. And let's see how Dursey plays the rest of this game as we're going to head to break. But that was an interesting encounter between Tom Wilson and the Capitals and Sean Dursey's Mammoth. So we'll head to break, still scoreless with 9:17 to go in the first period. You're listening to Ultimate Sports Media's NHL Watch-Alongs with Jaric Rubel. Jaric Rubel back with you here live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. This NHL Watch Along live here with yours truly between the Mammoth and the Capitals, scoreless as before the break Tom Wilson and Sean Durzi had an interesting encounter, and I'll keep an eye as to how those two guys play the rest of the game as the Capitals here win a D-zone draw to the left of their goaltender Thompson and move out to center with Chychrun with the puck on his stick. Backhanded one over the Utah line, but it's going to be collected by Sergachev. He got it out to center. McMichael tried to play it right back in, but it'll be a delayed offsides, so the Mammoth have plenty of space to try and start a breakout. Durzi on the near side sends it across to Keller on the far wall, got tied up but kept it in the zone with Leonard. Now in the slide, here's Gunther, a shot, he scores! Dylan Gunther, a ripper from the slot, and Utah strikes first, 1-0 on the road. So Dylan Gunther with his third goal back since the Olympic break, as he had 2 goals on the opener against Colorado when play resumed, and now he gets the opening goal of this game here against the Washington Capitals for goal number 28 on the year. And Clayton Keller did a good job on the far left wing after he got tied up with Leonard to get that puck onside to Schmaltz, who was able to find Gunther wide open in the slot, and the rink general is able to snap it past Thompson for the all-important first goal in this one. So Utah controls off the ensuing faceoff. It's dumped back into Capital ice as Washington struggled to get anything going here in this first period. And when giving up the first goal this year, the Caps are 7-15-3. Meanwhile, Utah 21-9. No overtime losses when scoring first in this regular season. Their fourth line, who has good numbers against this Capital team, goes to work. Puck at the right point, Marino will have it. Tried to feed it to Mata, but he had it bounce off the far boards awkwardly, and now sort of got it to center for Leonard. Leonard over the line, tried to get it to Dowd. He ran into Stemlin and lost it, and sort of couldn't get it away from Carcone as the Mammoth take back over with under 8 minutes to go in this opening period. Now up 1-0 on Gunther's 28th of the year from Keller and Schmaltz as the top line, able to connect here in the nation's capital. So through center, Peterka, Hayton I should say, almost drew a hook, didn't get it, or he did get it as the referee down to our right off camera did put his arm up as Utah here up 1-0, about to go on the power play, but for now they have the extra attacker on. And the slot one-timer, Schmitty broke his stick as now it'll be touched up by Sandin. And a power play upcoming here for the Utah Mammoth. We'll see who the guilty party is here for Washington as they take a penalty here with 7:31 remaining in period 1. The referees tonight are Chris Rooney and Liam Maskett. And Liam Maskett with the call as it's going to go against Ovechkin, who went to the bench. Good veteran move there. So he was like, no way. No way could that be against me, as he'll take a seat. And the linesmen in this game are Ben O'Quinn and Libor Shushanek. So Ovechkin with the stick in the right arm elbow area of Barrett Hayton as he crossed through neutral ice, and that'll put Utah on the power play. Their power play horrible, 29th in the NHL, but the Caps PK 17th, middle of the pack. An opportunity here to double their lead. They control off the draw from the far corner. Here's Gunther for Sergachev, but a one-timer got blocked in behind. Came to the near corner, Keller up high, Sergachev across, one-timer by Gunther, blocked again. The Caps are blocking so many shots in this first period, as could be a lot more of a workload Thompson's facing, but the defense in front of him has been good, and they come up with a clear here. So 30 seconds gone by on this Utah power play as they have the push and back entry installed for Nick Schmaltz, who on the power play has 5 goals and 7 assists this year. Played it over the cap line, far wing, left wing for Keller. In the slot for Hayton, mishandled it, touched it left point for Sergachev. Got a return pass along the far wing from Schmaltz. This way Gunther to the near half boards, Keller. Back up high, here's Sergachev, a shot, he scores! Power play goal, Mikhail Sergachev, and Utah with a 2-0 lead here early in this game. So Mikhail Sergachev, his 23rd point on the road this year out of 42 total on the campaign, and he now has his 10th goal of the season. It's a power play goal from deep between the circles, as it was just a very light wrist shot through traffic with Hayton in front. and it went just under the right-handed catching glove of Thompson with that wrister cleanly into the back of the net. So one more look at this replay here. I don't think Hayton gets a piece of that. It will be Sergachev's goal, and his 10th of the year makes it 2-0 here in favor of the Mammoth. So a big early lead here for Utah as they're trying to not fall out of this Western Conference playoff race. I mentioned in the open, tied at 66 points with the Oilers, as now Spencer Carberry could be looking for goaltender interference here, but yeah, nope, we're going to drop the puck. As I was going to say, I saw none whatsoever there. So good idea by Carberry not to challenge, as off a face-off, the puck comes right to Thompson, and he's going to take a whistle as it just slowly creeped towards him, and he will pause play with 6:31 to go in the opening period. Utah up 2-0 now after that power play goal by Sergachev. He now has 5 points in his last 6 games, as he's been a good acquisition for Utah after being brought over from Tampa Bay in their inaugural season last year. So Utah up 2-0 here, in Washington just can't get anything going, and it's not really what Washington's doing wrong. I think it's more of what Utah's doing right. As watching, I'm going to give credit to the YouTuber Hockey Psychology every time, because he helps me see the game a lot more. So when I explain this stuff, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. You watch these teams with their neutral zone traps and just what it forces the teams with more elite skill to do, as these teams with the elite skill like to carry the puck in, as Duhaim's able to do here on the far wing for the Capitals with a backhand, and Vejmelka able to make a save. Duhaim on his own rebound in the near quarter to our left, behind the goal for Strome. Up to the far point it goes on the right side for Chychrun to play it back behind the Utah net. Ovechkin knocked out of the play there nicely by Kerfoot, and now Utah takes back over. 5.5 to go here in the first period, as now Sergachev gave it back to Chychrun here in neutral ice, and Chychrun will give it right back to Sergachev. But back to the point I was making about these teams here, their controlled zone entry rates just are not good, these skilled teams, against teams that are really good at neutral zone traps. And when they start forcing a dump and chase game, it can build an early lead. It just really throws these teams off their game, as they have no idea how to play from behind in a dump and chase style. And then all of a sudden, you're just playing into the hands of what the opposition wants. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here with Washington, as Utah has shut them down heavily here through the first 15 minutes of this game. So Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me on Ultimate Sports Media. NHL Watch Along here live on YouTube. 2-0 Utah as they turn a puck over here in their defensive zone, but a centering pass by the Capitals. Dubois was put right on the blade of Hayton, so he sends it out to center, and on the far left wing, Olli Mata will send it on into Capital Ice. Mata, Stanley Cup champion with the Pittsburgh Penguins, had a couple of big playoff series wins against these Capitals, as now his partner Marino shot one right out of play with 4:24 to go in the first period. That'll send us to one last break in this opening frame. Utah up 2-0 with an even strength goal by Dylan Guenther, his 28th of the season. Then Mikhail Sergachev, a power play goal for his 10th. And that's where we stand through the first 15 minutes. Back in a second for the remainder of the first. 2-0 Mammoth lead it on the road here in Washington. Jaric Rubel with you here live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. And Mikhail Sergachev with that most recent goal for the Mammoth as he now gets his 10th goal of the year. Earned 2 assists in Friday's win over the Minnesota Wild. That was his 7th multi-assist game of the year. He now has a good run here in the Delta Center. That's where the Mammoth play their home games, as he's got 10 points in his last 17 games, and overall his 42 points on the year, ranked 4th among Mammoth skaters. That includes his goal here tonight. So we resume play here at 4:15 to go in the first period, as the puck's in the near quarter down to our right in the Capital Zone, where Matt Roy will try and leave it for Faravari. He got knocked over by Schmaltz. Gunther knocked it free back to Schmaltz, and now in the slot, here's Keller trying to weave free on the near circle. Fed it across, far circle, a shot save made by Thompson off the stick of Schmidt, as now the rebound comes to Wilson. He can't clear. In the slot, Keller on the loose puck, came to the near circle, Marino dropped it off for Gunther. In the slot, another shot blocked by Faravari. Puck free now to Dubois on the near left wing. C plays it to the logo for McMichael. Far wing Wilson dropped it. Roy's shot missed the net to the left pad of Vemelka. Rebound in behind. It'll be grabbed by Marino. And Marino of the Mammoth with 3:33 to go in the first will leave it behind for Schmidt as the Mammoth are changing. And now Schmidt will go back this way for Marino, who's out to neutral ice. Got the red line in front of the penalty box and wristed it on in. Leonard can't grab it for the Capitals on the far wing, but a little bit of help from Sordiff wouldn't hurt, as he is able to get it out to center and carry himself over the Mammoth line to the far circle. His shot got blocked by Sergachev to the near wall. On that near wall, turned over off the stick of Cooley to Sordiff, but a good back check by Sergachev didn't allow Sordiff to get the puck on net. And taking back over are the Mammoth, clearing to center. So Chychrun will grab it back for Washington with under 3 minutes to go in this first period. His defense partner Sandin almost turned it over, but there is Leonard at center to help out, who has the puck now through both lines into the Mammoth zone. Into the far corner, he eludes a check from Sergachev. In the slot, Sordiff to the loose puck, played it across TVR on the far wing, and behind it'll go Chychrun, a tough backhand from the goal line, never made it through. And now a penalty coming up here on, it looks like perhaps Washington, as they had the puck, and an O-zone penalty here for the Caps are about to send them shorthanded here yet again after giving up a power play goal just a minute ago. As perhaps now it's going to be Kerfoot going to the box. So I beg your pardon. The Capitals had that puck when the whistle went, as maybe that's why the Capitals reacted the way they did with their heads all tilted back. As Kerfoot held the stick there, the stick of Leonard was in the midsection of Kerfoot. As then looking back, I don't see where the penalty on Kerfoot even happens, but he is the one going to the penalty box for holding the stick. And it'll be the Capitals to the power play here. They're ranked 31st in the NHL. It's been tough for them, as I mentioned in the open. They're 0 for their last 10 since the Olympic break. And meanwhile, the Mammoth PK, 21st in the NHL at 78.5%. They're dangerous shorthanded, though. They've scored 6 shorthanded goals. Strome's able to win the draw to the right or left of Vemelka. Along the far wall, plays it up high to Chychrun. Chychrun back to Strome, as they're now going to trade spots. Chychrun with the puck, far circle. In the slot, Leonard, a shot blocked by Stenlund, and it shattered his stick, or it's still together as he's able to go and grab it. As now in the near corner, it's going to be fished up to Ovechkin. Far circle, it sent Strome's one-timer. Save Vemelka. Rebound plopped in the slot. Ovechkin overskated it. The Mammoth will clear. As down the ice it goes with 30 seconds elapsed already. On this Washington power play that's powered by YouTube, subscribe to this brand new Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page, as Matthew, myself, Seth, and JT are all having to start fresh after a little bit of an error on YouTube's part with the last channel. So through center, the Capitals. Chychrun over the Mammoth line, far wall, it's Wilson dropping it on off, and Leonard couldn't play the puck as he overskated it as well, but Schmaltz can't clear. Came to the near point. Ovechkin a shot free in the slot as Chychrun got poked around. Now everyone wants a penalty. Meanwhile, Leonard will play it up to Strome. Send it to the near circle. Chychrun along the near boards down to our left, tied up with his counterpart wearing 6 Marino. Puck came to Wilson. Played it in the slot. Ovechkin touched it to Strome, far circle. Back Ovi's shot. Stick save made there by Vemelka. Might have been blocked by his own Capital, Leonard, as it did hit a stick right on top of the blue paint. Now it's free to Schmaltz. He'll clear as the Mammoth are able to send it down the ice with 30 seconds left on this Washington man advantage. So now we've hit officially 60 seconds as well remaining in this opening period. As back again on the far wing, it'll be dumped by Dubois into Mammoth ice. Vejmelka almost lost his balance playing it in the trapezoid, but it came to Hayton near wing, who will send it down. And with the Baker's dozen remaining on the Capital power play, they'll have one last power play rush. 40 to go in the period. Sandin sent it this way, Dubois over the red and the blue into the Mammoth zone. Skates his way to the far circle, protecting with a snapshot. He scores! Pierre-Luc Dubois, do it all yourself, why don't ya? A power play goal as it's expiring, and the Caps get one back. So Pierre-Luc Dubois, just his 11th game of the season, gets his 4th goal of the campaign, as it's now his 6th point of the season, and he was able to go through the entire Mammoth O zone, or D zone rather, and skate from the near circle to the far, and snap one just past the short blocker side of Karel Vejmelka, as that shot ended up going actually to the far side over his glove, as the camera angle gives me a better look there, as Vejmelka, similar to Thompson, catches with his right hand, as that one's able to beat him to the glove side. And Pierre-Luc Dubois, with his 4th of the year, gets Washington back in this one. It's 2-1 now, with 22 seconds remaining in the first, and now an icing here with 18 seconds remaining on Washington, as they won the draw and ended up taking the infraction. So an O-zone draw coming back for Utah. So Pierre-Luc Dubois factored in on all 3 goals back on Friday against the Vegas Golden Knights. He had 2 goals and an assist in that win. He's registered 5 points, now 6 in his 5 games since returning to the lineup on February 5th, as he missed 47 games consecutively from November 1st to the start of February due to injury. So the Caps win a D-zone draw to the right of Thompson. They break out with 13 seconds left in the first. Beauvillier on the near wing couldn't get it deep. Dursey will go across, and now Schmidt will give it back to Dursey, who will snap it right on net. Thompson will glove it. 3 seconds left. He'll just stick it free to the near corner, and that will do it for a time here in period number 1. An eventful final 10 minutes of the first period after a relatively rough first 10 minutes, as the Mammoth did all the good work they needed to do to build an early lead. They were shutting Washington down defensively. They scored at even strength. They scored a power play goal, but they end up giving one up to Pierre-Luc Dubois at the end of the period after taking a penalty themselves, and it's 2-1 here in favor of the Mammoth through 20 minutes of play. And the goal scorers in this contest, it was Dylan Guenther's 28th of the year to open the scoring from Keller and Schmaltz, as he had a slot snapper get past the glove side of Logan Thompson. And Mikhail Sergachev on the power play beat Thompson to the glove side as well. Keller with his second assist, Guenther with an assist for his 2nd point of the game. And then Pierre-Luc Dubois, as the power play time was expiring for the Capitals, from Rasmus Sandin, as he went up the near wing into the Mammoth zone and skated all the way to the far circle with a snapper that was able to beat Vejmelka to the far glove side. So that was the scoring in this first period between the Mammoth and the Capitals. Shots were 9-6 in that opening frame between these two teams in favor of the Mammoth. Hits 8-5 in favor of the Capitals, and they blocked a ton of shots. 14 blocks for the Capitals to the 2 that the Mammoth had. When leading after the first period this year, Utah with a 14-4-1 record. Washington 6-13-2. When trailing after the first 20 minutes. We'll see if those numbers mean anything throughout the course of this game, as that's where things stand through the first 20 minutes here tonight. Don't go anywhere, as I'll be back for the middle frame soon between the Mammoth and the Capitals, live from the nation's capital, as you're listening to an NHL watch-along here with Jaric Rubel, live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Again, Utah leading Washington 2-1 after the first 20 minutes of play tonight. welcome back in for the start of period number 2 here in Washington as the Capitals trail the Utah Mammoth by a score of 2-1 through the first 20 minutes of play. Welcome back in, everyone. My name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me here for some Tuesday night hockey here for this watch along on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Goals in that first period. Dylan Guenther's 28th of the year from Keller and Schmaltz. That got Utah, up 1-0. Couldn't even control that one. As Mikhail Sergachev then on the power play made it 2-0 as he got his 10th of the year from Keller and Guenther. Keller with 2 assists in that opening period for Utah. Guenther with a goal and an assist. And then for Washington, Pierre-Luc Dubois in the final seconds of their man advantage. It was his 4th of the year in just his 11th game as he made it 2-1 with the assist from Rasmus Sandin. So we're set here for period number 2. As teams change ends of the ice, the Capitals now attacking from left to right. The Utah Mammoth will be going from right to left. As we look at Vejmelka and Thompson, games allowing 2 goals or fewer this season. Thompson's tied for the league lead with Vasilevsky and Dan Vladar with 25. And then Karel Vejmelka's right behind them with 24. As those 2 goalies have been dominant, and I mentioned in the first period, they both catch with their right hand, not their left, which is more of a rarity in the NHL, as most goaltenders are normally blocker on the right hand and glove on the left. So we're set for action here in period 2. Strome against Schmaltz for the draw. Schmaltz controls at center, and we're underway as Marino dumps it in down to our left. Comes around the dasher to the near corner. Guenther trying to center out of it for Schmaltz, but he got tied up with Martin Fehérváry. Now the puck's free to Sandin. He blew a tire, got up to Schmidt. He couldn't keep it in, so he'll reset it neutral ice, played it in the area on the far wing for Guenther. Dropped it over the cap line for Schmaltz, who put it behind the Capital goal line. Took it away from Fehérváry nicely. Center Keller didn't want to grab it, as I think he and Guenther weren't sure who were going to take that pass. And a little bit of miscommunication sends them out of their own zone. Quickly, though, on the re-entry, Cooley fresh off the bench on the far wing, on the right wing corner. Pulls up and now centers for Kraus, but the pass deflected through his legs off the skate of McElrath. Came up to the left point, a shot there towards the net off the stick of Sergachev, blocked by the right pad of Thompson. Now up to the slot, it's free for Peterka. His shot blockered away by Thompson. To the far wall it goes. In that far corner, puck's free to Ethan Frank. He tried to move it ahead, got tied up with a Mammoth player, but Dowd's free on the far wall into the Mammoth zone with a shot from the far circle. That missed the net to the near corner. Came back to Roy, back to Dowd now in the slot as he tried to get free, but ended up losing possession. And Peterka's able to move it ahead out to center. So resetting is Sergachev as the Mammoth make changes. He plays it back in his own zone where Dursey will wait as he's between the circles in his own end with a pass up the far wall. That'll be touched to Hayton. Hayton will flip it into Capital Ice, down to the far wing, into the trapezoid. It rolls to the near side, and now Beauvillier trying to get it away from Yamamoto. Couldn't. Yamamoto to the left point for Cole. His flipper deflected off a skate to the far corner. Now here's Barrett Hayton being defended by Chychrun, had it poked away. Ovechkin with the puck, backhands it to the logo at center for Strome, who chips it into Mammoth Ice. It'll be left in the near corner for Mata to go after it. Mata played it up the near wing, and now Yamamoto takes it. Over the Capital line he goes in the slot with a shot that got blocked and goes out of play, as it is blown dead with 2:05 played here in period number 2. So look here on the replay of this shot by Dowd, and he got the crossbar. As we get a second look at it, as I don't get game audio here on my end, so I couldn't hear the noise that shot made as it hit the crossbar, but he did beat Vejmelka and Drew Iron. So 17:55 to go here in this second period. Utah up 2-1. Shots on goal 11-6 in favor of the Mammoth as well. As this faceoff here is going to be to the left of Thompson between LaPierre and Kevin Stenlund. LaPierre able to win it, again joining the lineup tonight in the absence of Alexei Protas for the Capitals, as Sorda for Washington's out across the logo at center, into the far left wing, into the Mammoth zone, trying to go somewhere with it, pivots to his backhand on Kerfoot. Now on his forehand at the far circle, played it up to Roy. Roy's shot blocked in the slot by Schmidt. That kind of stung him as he was able to get some help from Kerfoot and flip a puck back to center. And now Utah kind of resets as they make changes again with 2.5 played in the middle frame. Now Schmidt back across. Marino had it bounce off his blade in neutral ice, but now the Capitals put it right into the Mammoth bench. So a stoppage here with 17:16 to go and an ozone draw upcoming for the Utah Mammoth. So upcoming schedule here on this Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page tomorrow. You'll get some NBA action with Matthew Owens as he'll bring you the Pistons and the Spurs, or that'll be Thursday rather, as I look at my thing and it looks like it's the next day, but it is on Thursday, March 5th at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Pistons and Spurs with Matthew Owens right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Face off to the left of Washington's Thompson, won by the Mammoth. In the slot, Schmaltz tried a shot that went in behind on the ricochet. Dursey on it, the defenseman down low. Backhanded it up high to Keller covering at the point. His shot deflected in the slot off a leg, came to the near wing and backhanded out to center. And Sergachev gets tied up with Dubois. The puck's free near the Utah blue line on the near side. And now a hand pass was almost whistled, but it wasn't as the linesman made the gesture, Libor Shushanek, but no whistle. As now on the far wall, Sandin in the Mammoth zone with a shot goes right off the left pad of Vamelka. Rebound up the near wall. Keller's going to carry it. Keller gliding into the zone. Played it ahead. Dursey a shot. Rebound played it through the blue paint from behind the goal line. Keller on the near wing. Got it up to Gunther covering at the left point. Now he couldn't get it deep as Dubois sends it back the other way. And Marino resets at center. Gave it ahead for Dursey to snap back in. Around the goal it goes in the Capital zone to our left. As in the far corner it's grabbed by Rasmus Sandin as he'll wait behind his own net and start a breakout. So Sandin up the near wall, connects with Faravari, slowly up the wall, snapped it off a tip by Frank. No, it wasn't, says the linesman. Icing this time will be whistled. And a stoppage with 16:06 remaining in the second period. So the Capitals, they rank second in the NHL in 5-on-5 goals for with 138. And I made mention during the intermission to my friend Jake, who may or may not be listening to this right now, that Utah looks fantastic 5-on-5 to start this game. And most of Washington's chances came on the power play in that opening period. And for a team that thrives so good at even strength, it's definitely noteworthy to see that Utah's done such a good job through almost 30 minutes of this game at even strength against them. And they win a draw to the right of Thompson that Cooley's able to prevail with. Tried to center it for Krause, but it tips in behind Peterka. Center, Krause a backhand and a left pad save. A sharp one by Thompson. Puck goes back up high. A flip shot goes off of Krause. Rebound to the near circle, and Dowd will get on it and send it out to center. Frank will get after it into the far corner of the Mammoth zone. Got hit hard in behind by Cole off the puck. As now on the near side, Peterka can't grab it. Frank does. Looking to center. Can't get it through. Peterka a great stick lift and a takeaway. Up the near wall, Cooley will go cross ice. Out of the reach of Ian Cole as it bounces in front of the Capital bench. Taken back over by Chychrun, who lays it into the near side of Mammoth ice as both teams change their forward cores up. Ovechkin on the ice now as he delivered a jolt on the far wall, but the puck comes out to center for Utah, and now it's played into the near wall in the Capital zone for Cooley. Cooley walking into the slot, a shot, and that got blocked out of play with 15:13 now to go in the second period. Shots 12-7 here in favor of Utah, as Washington only with one shot in this period so far, as they had 6 in the opening period, 4 of them coming on the power play. As I've mentioned, Utah's been awesome here so far at even strength. Capitals trying to extend a 5-game home winning streak in this building. They'll go on the road for their next game, a pivotal one, in Boston against the Bruins. As if the Bruins lose in regulation here tonight and the Capitals win this game, they'll be tied for a playoff spot at the end of this game. So we'll see where the standings shape up. The Capitals here with a D-zone face-off win, and Chychrun through center will flip one into Mammoth ice. Behind the goal, it'll be taken by John Marino. Marino up the far wall for a pass that gets tipped to Hayton between the benches, and he sent it into Capital ice, but no Mammoth in the area. So Matt Roy plays it back up the near wall. Goes into Mammoth ice where Marino controls down to our right, bumped it off the near boards to the logo for Yamamoto. Fed it far wall into the zone. Here's McBain trying to hit Hayton with a pass, but it went through his legs, and now into the near corner of the Capital zone. It pinballs up the wall to Ovechkin. Ovechkin trying to get it out, couldn't. Now Yamamoto kept it. Touch to the back left point, Cole. Across it goes Dursey. His shot goes high and out of play, as I believe it got a piece of Thompson on the way. So 14:24 to go after that whistle, as the faceoff will remain in the O zone for Utah to the left of the goaltender Logan Thompson, as Utah will go on the road to Philadelphia for the second game of their 5-game road trip for later on this week, as they'll take on the Flyers on Thursday, as Rick Tocchet will get a look at quote-unquote his old team, as he did coach the Arizona Coyotes, which are now the Utah Mammoth here in the NHL, and Tocchet now coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. As face-off to the left of Thompson's won by the Capitals, as on the near wall, Wilson will send it across the ice, but taken right back by Schmaltz. He misplayed it, so now it's chipped into Mammoth ice nicely there by McMichael. Behind the goal it goes. Good takeaway by Dubois to feed it to McMichael, but his centering pass for Wilson got taken away by Utah, and through center they go. On the far wall, Yamamoto into the Mammoth zone with a shot that got blocked up to their near side, and out come the Capitals the other side. End to end we go. Near wall into the Mammoth zone is Dubois with a shot that got blocked to the near corner, and back up high it goes to Van Riemsdyk. His shot didn't even come close to making the target, as now behind the goal, here's Wilson and the trapezoid centered on top of the paint. A shot save, Vejmelka. What a good save on LaPierre, as he came flying off the bench down Main Street. But Vejmelka able to keep his Mammoth in front, as they lead it 2-1 still near the halfway point of this cross-conference matchup here on YouTube. Jaric Rubel back with you here in Washington, as the Capitals on home ice trail the Utah Mammoth here by a score of 2-1. Thank you so much for joining me here on the brand new Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Only the second broadcast we've been able to do for the NHL on it thus far, as it features the Mammoth and the Capitals. And Utah's 10 wins in January were the most in a calendar month for this new franchise. And overall, they have scored at least 4 goals in 10 of their last 15 games, as they've been very potent offensively, trying to clinch a real playoff berth here for the first time since 2012 as a franchise. Yeah, they kind of made it in the 2020 bubble, but the Coyotes, Mammoth, original Winnipeg Jets, whatever you want to call them, have not made the playoffs since their 2012 run to the conference final against the Los Angeles Kings. So now they're back into the far circle with a shot there, as we were resuming quickly, in Marino again had a shot blocked by the Capitals, as Utah, with only 12 shots in this game, probably could have close to 25. But Washington, with 14 block shots at the intermission, and now probably much closer to 20 so far, have been significantly strong defensively in the blocking department. Though they're trying to have some defense lead to offense, 5-on-5, as they don't want to have to rely on a power play that's been struggling, though they've scored tonight to try and cash in. They've been hemmed into their own defensive zone here for a while, but mainly with the puck, as finally the Caps get out to center and get a change, As now Sordiff on the far wall after a good stick by Van Riemsdyk in the neutral zone will put him into Mammoth ice. He's driving towards the net, trying to stuff it home, and it got poked to the near wall. Came up top to Roy. He had it stripped. Carcone's in. Carcone into the Capital zone, lost it to Jacob Chychrun. As you got to watch out for Carcone. He's got 3 goals in 4 games against Logan Thompson on just 6 shots, as he's shooting 50% on him. As now a puck rolls towards Vejmelka on a dump, and he'll just cover with 12:21 to go in the second period, as he didn't want any chances being taken. So face-off coming up in the O-zone here for the Capitals, as they went down 2-0 in this game. They're tied for the league lead in opening goals with Columbus, who scored first tonight, so now they'll be second. The Capitals with 37 opening goals did not score first tonight, and Columbus now with 38 opening goals on the season scores first against Nashville. So face-off to the left of Vejmelka, won by Utah, as from behind the net, Mata tries to clear out the center. He has a hard time doing so, and LaPierre a keep, and now Leonard will flip it to the near corner down to our right. Chychrun one-arms it behind the cage, but it's taken back by Mata as he lays it up the near glass, not out. Sordiff a keep in the slot for Chychrun. Chychrun back to Sordiff in the slot, but he got tied up with Cooley and took him down. No penalty, though, is at the right point. Roy's shot deflects to the far corner. Trying to get on its LaPierre for the Caps, but taking it there is Peterka for the Mammoth. Can't clear, however. Chychrun left point. This way, Roy. Back to the far circle. Leonard up top. Chychrun a shot and a save made through a ton of traffic by Vejmelka, as Chychrun let a hefty one-timer go. But through a maze of players, Vejmelka able to see it and swallow it all the way and take that whistle with 11:41 to go in the middle frame. Take a look here at this replay, as he was lucky to see this shot. It was right spot, right time, as on top of the paint with them were both LaPierre and Sordiff for the Capitals, but also the defense pair of Mata and Cole. And that shot just so happened to come right between where all 4 of those skaters were, standing at. And Vejmelka had a nice sight line to it and was able to make the stop. Now he'll watch a face-off to his right between Dowd and Hayton, as looks like Barrett Hayton's going to get tossed out of the draw, so it'll be Jack McBain stepping in, but that'll be no problem, as McBain's over 50% at the face-off dot on the year, as Dowd's also excellent, but a face-off wins controlled by the Mammoth. And now on the near wing, Hayton will get out to neutral ice. He gets the red line and snaps it in. Around the dasher, it goes to the far corner. Back it came to the near that Chychrun bumped up the boards to Duhaime, but Duhaime's hassled around here by Schmidt and has to play it back for Chychrun, who flips it out to neutral ice. Bounces into Mammoth territory on the far wall. Durzi will backhand it around the cage. Sergachev on the near side can't get it out. Sandino flip it towards the net, blocked in the slot by Schmidt. Came back to the far wall. Coming out the center on a backhand whack is McBain. At the red line, the puck sits. It'll be grabbed by Hayton now as he's over the Capital line. Far wall, McBain dropped it in the slot. Here's Schmidt. Across it goes, and a shot off the side of the net by McBain as he tried to go short side on Thompson. Gets it back on a cross-ice feed from Yamamoto out of the far corner. Played it to a vacant right point as Nate Schmidt was changing. And now Utah's going to have to skate all the way back into their defensive zone. Sergachev with it now from the trapezoid. Got it up to neutral ice himself. He'll backhand it from the far wall into the near corner. Gunther after it. Couldn't play it, but it came to Keller. In the slot, Schmaltz. Up top to Marino. Marino deep between the circles. Left it in the slot. Schmaltz dropped it off Keller with some misdirection and a shot from the near circle gloved by Thompson. And he will hold with 10:24 remaining in this second period. So this Utah top line here, very crafty with their puck movement, as again, this McBain shot goes off the post as we get a look at the replay. As it goes off the far post, it did not go off the side of the net, but Thompson crashing into the post made the webbing kind of jolt there, which made it feel like it happened like that. But a couple of posts here in this period, one for Dowd and the Caps, one for McBain and the Mammoth, and it remains 2-1. Mammoth win an O-zone draw to the right of Thompson, near corner. Here's Schmaltz trying to put it short side, and that went off the outside of the glove of Thompson. Behind the goal, Roy played it to Wilson on the far wall, who got upended, lost it, and now in the trapezoid behind Ferravari, back up the far wall for Wilson again. He played it to center, and now it'll be carried over by McMichael into the Mammoth zone. Dubois in the slot for Ferravari, shakes free of Gunther at the shot, and a save made by Vejmelka, and he will cover with 9:55 remaining here in period number 2. Still no goals in this second period, but it's remaining a 2-1 score. Utah in front on the road over Washington. Utah 2-1 over the Capitals on the road thus far. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. NHL watch along here on a Tuesday night. So glad you could join me. Don't be shy to be active in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button, the like button as well. So we're trying to regrow what we lost here at the Ultimate Sports Media Network. So the Caps here with 20 games to go, including this one in the regular season, 9 of which will be here at Capital One Arena. They trail Boston by 2 points for the Eastern Conference's second wild card spot, as the Bruins currently lead the Penguins 2-1 right now on home ice in their game. And those two teams, the Bruins and Capitals, will clash twice in the next 11 days. That'll be this Saturday, March 7th, and the following March 14th, a home and home. One will be in Boston, one will be here in Washington. Face off to the right of Kirill Vejmelka's won by his Mammoth, and they're out through neutral ice with under 10 minutes to go here in this second period. Attacking right to left are the Mammoth. The puck down to the far corner, down to our left, and it comes up to the point for Marino. His shot deflects into the near corner for Kerfoot. Tried to play it back to Marino. It's intercepted by the Caps. They're out 3-on-2. Beauvillier leaves for Ovechkin. Over the line, might be offsides as it won't matter, and they blew it dead anyway. I thought they didn't as Sergachev took back over, but Strome got in ahead of the play. Not to his fault, though, as Ovechkin got tied up here at the blue line, trying to cross with Chychrun. So they'll reset here for a neutral zone faceoff with 9:23 remaining in the second period. But 10 of the Capitals' final 20 games, as I was mentioning their schedule, are against teams currently in playoff positions, while 8 are divisional games. So it's going to be a tough road ahead for the Capitals. But my projections, if you want to put anything into them, I think that they end up finishing third in the Metropolitan Division, overtaking the Islanders, not only for a wild card spot, but for third in the Metro. And we get Sid versus Ovi, Penguins and Capitals in the first round, but they got to put the work in for that to happen first. And they got to tie this game currently against Utah as they trail 2-1. And Utah dumps a puck into Capital Ice as Sandino retrieve it in the far corner. Played it behind his net for Roy. Now up it goes. Dow gets turned around. Loose puck to the near wall, taken by Cooley. Across it goes. Bounced off the stick of Krause and now sent out to center by Sandin. And now Utah trying to snap it back in again will, as they'll make changes in the process. Or on the dasher, the puck goes by Roy on the near wall for Frank, as Frank for the Capitals will flip a puck back into Mammoth Ice. As now behind their goal, here's John Marino. On the near side for Schmidt, goes up to neutral ice, and at the red line's collecting Cooley. Got over the Capital line, near circle, it's left for McBain. Out of the corner, tried to put it on top of the paint, trying to collect as Yamamoto does. Played it to the left point, Schmidt. Across it goes Marino, far point, with a wrist shot, got blocked right back to him by Sordiff. Marino riding the wall, down low to the corner for Hayton. Hayton smashed up against the far corner boards there, down to his knees thanks to Ryan Leonard. And the Capitals' young rookie able to pry a puck free, but it's kept by Utah. Far point point here is Yamamoto for Schmidt in the slot with the tip, and it didn't get on net as Hayton was trying to direct it on goal. In the near corner still to Thompson's right, a loose puck's taken by Chychrun. Skates behind his net, flipped it out to center. And now Nate Schmidt again, an ex-Capital, won a Stanley Cup here in 2018. We'll flip it on over. Didn't win a Stanley Cup here in 2018. Might have won it. I forgot. He was with Vegas when he played against in the Cup final twice. He might have been on the 18 team in Washington. Shame on me for not knowing that off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Nate Schmidt was on that 2018 team before going to Las Vegas and then going back to another Cup final with them, and then with Florida last year as he hoisted Lord Stanley with them. Here's the Capitals. Chychrun with a slot chance there, cut off with the left pad by Vejmelka. That was a good, strong chance, too, by Chychrun, but that results in the Mammoth going the other way. Keller tried to play it over the Capital line, cut off by McMichael. He's the other way with speed. Near side over the Mammoth line, dropped it in the slot. Chychrun a shot, and that goes off the end boards. Poked back up the near wall, taken by Schmaltz to center. Fed the open man Gunther on the far wing, in he comes with a shot and a save made by Thompson. It was a bit of a change-up as that puck never left the ice. On the far wall in the Capital zone, Keller will backhand one around with some force. Came to the near wall where Cole will put it back around the dasher. On the far wall, Stenlund played it back to Cole at the left point, but guess what? He was still down low along the boards, so the puck's free out the center. Mammoth trying to reset here. Mata put one off a skate, deflects out of play. And now at 6:22 to go in the second period, we get another whistle. So let's take a look here at these tries from Chychrun. The first one between the circles was a good one, but there to get the stop with his left pad was Vejmelka. And then Chychrun tried to snap it glove side on him on the previous one, and it missed to the end boards, and then tried to go blocker again as we see him now shaking his head on the Capital bench, and hit the target once but missed it twice, and it remains 2-1 in favor of a Utah. They dump a puck into Capital ice that Thompson plays from his trapezoid, and in the near corner it's taken by Strome. Strome for the Capitals up the far wall. His ex-teammate in Chicago, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, tipped at the center, but now he's got to turn back with his partner Dylan McElrath, as now the third pairing for Washington tries to get out of their own zone. A pass for Beauvillier was on target, but don't know what he was doing to not retrieve it, as now the Capitals have to reset. Now an offsides is whistled here as the Utah ended up touching up as they were crossing over that blue line. So with 5:50 to go, they're going to send us to one last commercial break. Starting to get a little awkward here in Washington as neither team's really able to muster up a whole lot. Chychrun trying his best for Washington, but at the moment, nobody finding the back of the net in this middle frame. Back here with 5:50 to go in the second period between the Capitals and the Mammoth here from the nation's capital. Jaric Rubel with you here live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Glad you're with me for this watch along here on a Tuesday night. The next time you hear from me will be on Sunday as the Dallas Stars host the Chicago Blackhawks in an early evening game that'll get underway at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, as it'll be the Hawks and the Stars on some bonus hockey this Sunday night. So face off here in neutral ice between Dowd and Cooley able to win it in front of the Mammoth bench, and the puck now into capital ice behind the goal. Kraus to the far circle. Cooley, a wrister caught by the right-handed catching glove of Thompson, as he'll hold for a whistle with 5:37 remaining in period number 2. Logan Cooley with that shot for Washington. 15 goals, 10 assists on the year for him, as he's been pivotal part here of this Utah top 6. He lit the lamp in the first period Friday against the Minnesota Wild with the third shorthanded goal of his NHL career. So he's out there for this draw again against Dowd that he's able to win back, but it looks like the referee, the linesman I should say, wants to do this over again. So Dowd's going to get tossed out of the faceoff circle for Washington. Brandon Duhaime will step in. He's only at 31% on the faceoff dot this year, but he's able to win this one to himself as he skates to neutral and played it on the near wing where it's bunted ahead by Frank. Vacant near corner. Dowd will get there, dropped it off for Frank, but he fanned on his pass as it didn't really wrap around far behind the goal. And Kraus is able to get it out to center for Cooley. Cooley over the red line in the blue, dropped it for Peterka with some luck. It got to him in the slot, but his shot got blocked to the near corner. Behind in the near corner, Cooley again, looking to go up top. Pat Marino, across it goes for Schmidt's one-timer, hit off the far post. Back it goes, far wall. Trying to get out to center's Dowd. He does get it out for Washington. And in between the benches, Duhaime scoops up that puck. Gets out on the far wing into Utah ice. Marino knocked it away from him behind the Utah net to the near wall. Cooley will rip it back right out to center. Did he connect on a tip with that pass with Peterka? No, he did not. And it ends up in an icing with 4:50 remaining here in period number 2. So 6 shots in this period for the Capitals, 7 for the Mammoth, as nobody's found the back of the net here with 4:50 remaining in this frame, as Nate Schmidt was not on that Capitals team, as I'm figuring it out now in 2018. He was on the losing end in Vegas, which is always a tough sight to be a part of, but he did end up winning a Stanley Cup with the Florida Panthers last season. So Nate Schmidt left the Capitals in 2017 and now has bounced around a handful of teams since then. Vegas, Winnipeg, Florida, Utah. He's been around the block as he's now in the twilight of his NHL career. As the Capitals here trying to get back into Utah ice, couldn't, as they did a good job at their own blue line to deny Sandin's entry. So he'll reset again. This time he'll give it on the far wall for Farivari. Back this way, Sandin will snap it in from the red line around the Mammoth goal. It goes to the far wall. Behind in the trapezoid, Marino's looking to exit. Makes a man miss. That's McMichael. Now slides it this way to Schmidt once again. Schmidt, cross ice through center on the far wall into the Capital Zone's Yamamoto. Dropped it for McBain, pivoting at the far circle. Up high it goes for Dursey. His wrister blocked by McMichael. It goes out of play. And another whistle here with 4:01 to go in period number 2. So if this score holds here through 2 periods of play, the Mammoth this year just 3 losses when leading through 2 periods. They have 20 wins, 2 losses, and an overtime loss. The Capitals, only 3 come from behind wins in the 3rd period. They're 3-17-3 when trailing through 2 periods. We'll see what happens with 4 minutes left in the 2nd period as Rasmus Sandin smashes his mouth guard against the bench as he's very agitated on the Capital Pine, as now the deep pairing of Chychrun and Roy are on the ice. This face-off to Thompson's left. Schmaltz against Dowd. Dowd able to win it clean for the Capitals behind their own net. Roy cleared it up, but not out. Shot there goes off of Schmaltz's skate, and he couldn't find it on his stick blade. As now on the far wall, putting it out to center, Sordiff. Sordiff got it into Mammoth ice, is now into the near side. Up the near wall is Sergachev. He couldn't clear, but Keller's there, able to grab it himself and get out now. Is on the near wing. He'll trade spots into the Capital Zone with Schmaltz. Schmaltz to the near corner, loses possession as his stick's tied up with Chychrun, as it's free to the near wall for Roy to look for an exit, as he now defers back behind the goal line. Chychrun lazy to get on it, can't grab it. Now the Capitals are able to move it up, but it won't get out. Now it will off a Dowd skate as he had a little bit of puck luck go his way, but now the Mammoth back in, and they're going to draw a penalty as Chychrun took down Clayton Keller. And now Utah going back to the man advantage here, 1-for-1 so far here in this game. So Keller will head on to the power play with the Mammoth unless they go with the second unit, but he heads to the bench at the moment as now Chychrun will take a seat here for Washington as referee Chris Rooney makes the call. So the Mammoth to the power play again. They're 1-for-1 tonight on the goal by Sergachev, assisted by Keller and Gunther. And we'll see what they're able to come up with here against the Capitals penalty kill that's ranked 5th in the National Hockey League, or 3rd rather, in the National Hockey League since December 5th at 85%. So face off here to the right of Thompson. 3:16 to go in the second period. Shout out Stone Cold, as now it'll be McMichael against Hayton on this draw. McMichael able to win it back for the Capitals. They lumberjack it down ice, and Utah will have to skate back here to begin this man advantage. Again, all power plays are powered by YouTube. Subscribe to this YouTube channel you're watching on. Matt, Seth, JT, and I would love it if you'd help us regrow our brand that we lost. Back in come the Mammoth on the near wall. Here's Keller getting a return pass from Sergachev at the point. Keller at the near circle, goes back to the left point for Sergachev. Across he goes Gunther. Down low in the bumper, Schmaltz to Keller on top of the paint. Back for Schmaltz, and the pass didn't connect. Off the far wall, Sergachev played it back for Keller. Behind the goal, it'll be Hayton back to Keller, far circle. Sent it this way at the near for Gunther. Now Keller again, far circle. Sergachev up high with it, threw it towards the goal, went off his skate, bounced up in the air, now it's free in the slot, and it'll go all the way down the ice as the Caps were able to clear. As that shot by Sergachev was blocked high in the air, nobody knew where it was, and eventually the Caps were able to send it down the ice and get some fresh PKers on, as the second unit is over the boards for the Mammoth power play as well, as Cooley flies in on the far wing and plays back up top to Dursey. Dursey had a pass come back to him between his legs. He had to hurry it over to Peterka. He won't grab it. And the Caps here have an area play and a shorthanded chance for Beauvillier. Beauvillier, a bouncing puck that can't settle down, as now Utah takes back over after that near scare. Half a minute to go on their power play as Carconi feeds it far wall for Peterka. Peterka goes back up high. Here's Dursey at the far point to our left. Slides it this way to Cooley. Cooley at the near circle in the slot. Peterka, shot, he scores! J.J. Peterka, power play goal, and it is 3-1 in favor of the Mammoth. So that shot by Peterka went off the near post, and Logan Thompson tried to glove it behind him, and he ended up backhanding it into his own net with the swipe of his glove, as Peterka hit the post to the glove side of Thompson. And he kind of, if you could watch me on the screen, just reached behind his back. And then when he hit it with his glove, it went right into the back of the net. And a little bit of unfortunate puck luck there for the Capitals, has them down 3-1 following that J.J. Peterka power play goal. So face off here back at center following the 3-1 marker, and Stenlund's able to beat Dubois clean on the draw for Utah, but it was 1-2 cleanly, so back into their defensive zone it deeply goes, and the Capitals here, Roy with a quick wrist shot from the near boards, went over the crossbar and ricochets back out to center. So now Chychrun will have to turn back. He'll play it around the goal up the near side. Unable to grab it is Roy, as now Utah back on the forecheck on the far wall. Can't keep it in, as it's sent back out with 70 seconds remaining in this second period. So at the logo, Strome for the Capitals. This way for Ovechkin with a rocket on that, and a right pad save made there by Vejmelka. Rebound to the far wall. Chychrun kept it in, played back to the wall, and now Utah's McBain able to get it out to neutral ice. So now back in their own zone with under a minute to go. Chychrun resets as the Capitals here try and get one more breakout before time expires. They've struggled 5-on-5 in this game, as now Sordiff turns it over in his own end. Keller with it far wall. Up high in the slot, Cole with room and missed the net by a mile with his wrist shot as it bounced off the near corner boards. Under half a minute to go now in the second period as Chychrun flicks a puck out to center. Strome at the logos bobbling it around as it rides into Mammoth ice. On the near side, Sordiff can't grab it. Gunther took it and fed it up the boards for Keller. Keller will hoist it into Washington ice to the far corner. It bounces in the final 14. Taken by Chychrun. Tried to get it out, but Schmaltz a keep, protects, got it to Keller. He'll backhand it behind the Capital goal in the final 6. Roy got it across to LaPierre. And that should do it here, as the Caps will just kill off the remaining time in the period. And that sends us to intermission with the Mammoth holding a 2-goal lead over the Washington Capitals, thanks to a power play goal just moments ago by J.J. Peterka, his 21st of the year, and a third power play goal, as it 3-1 in favor of the Mammoth. Again, when leading through 2 periods this season, the Utah Mammoth have a record of 22-1. Meanwhile, the Capitals 3-17-3 when trailing through 2 periods of play. We'll see what happens with these important 2 points that are up for grabs when we return, as this third period's going to be important for each of these teams, as the playoff standings are very much in play here for each of these 2 clubs. Again, the only goal in that period scored by the Mammoth, J.J. Peterka on the power play from Logan Cooley and Sean Durzi. Shots in that middle frame 8-7 in favor of Utah. They lead the shot count 17-13 in the game, and overall 2 for 2 on the power play. So when we return, the final period of a regulation, perhaps it takes more between these 2 teams. The Capitals are going to need a comeback for an important 2 points. Utah trying to hang on here and not lose their grasp on this Western Conference wildcard spot. You're listening to the NHL Watch-Alongs on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel with Jaric Rubel. I'll be back with you for period 3 in a jiffy. Welcome back for period number 3 here in Washington as the Mammoth lead the Capitals on the road by a score of 3-1. Welcome back in again, everybody. My name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you've been with me for this journey so far tonight, which seen the Mammoth score 3 goals past goaltender Logan Thompson, which doesn't happen every day. And Dylan Guenther got it started with his 28th of the year, 11 minutes into the game from Keller and Schmaltz. And 2 minutes after that, a power play goal from Sergachev doubled the Mammoth lead from Keller and Guenther. And then the Caps got one back on the power play themselves. Pierre-Luc Dubois in the final 33 seconds of the first from Erasmus Sandin. But most of the work was done by PLD himself. And then, in the late stages, the final 96 seconds of period number 2, it was J.J. Peterka shooting one off the post that deflected off the glove of Logan Thompson, who reached behind him, and the Caps goaltender knocked it into his own net. So 3-1 in favor of the Mammoth here. That Peterka goal is his 21st of the year from Cooley and Dursey. Got a power play goal, so 3 power play goals in this game, 2 for Utah, 1 for Washington, as this third period is set to begin. So big 2 points on the line here for each of these clubs. Mammoth trying to hold that final wild card spot out west. The Caps trying to get into the final wild card spot out east. And the Mammoth control off the draw to begin period 3. And the top line gets a puck behind the Capital net. Schmaltz plays it up to the point. Here's a wrister by Schmidt that got blocked. Came to the near circle. Keller's turnaround try. Didn't make it to the net as it was cut off by Sandin. And now the Caps are on it. And Faravari clears to center. So over the Mammoth line, Marino will play it right back to Schmaltz. Schmaltz tried to give it to Guenther. He got tied up at center. Puck free back in neutral ice. Mammoth control again as Schmaltz will play back in his own zone for Dursey. Mammoth changing them up here is behind their own net. Up the far wall, it's going to be skated out to center by Guenther as he heads to the bench now to change. Puck between the benches for Kraus as he'll go this way for Dursey. Back to Kraus into the zone. A shot save. Thompson popped up in the air. Rebound to the near corner. As now Kraus trying to get on it. Can't move it up the wall. It's taken back away by Washington. And Duhaime up the near wall to play it onside apparently for Frank. Looked like it could have been offsides, but in the near corner of the Mammoth zone. Trying to get it away from Duhaime was Cooley. And Cooley's able to force a turnover up ahead to Peterka, who's through center. Into the Capital zone, right wing. Played it on net, and that's going to be covered by Thompson. As that backhander by Peterka just found its way towards the Capital netminder. So shots are 18-13 in favor of Utah here through the first 41 minutes of this game. As the top line now, or the second line I should say, heads to the bench for Utah. And now for this offensive zone draw here to the left of Thompson. Looks like it'll be the trio of Hayton, McBain, and nope, it'll be the fourth line of Stenlund, Kerfoot, and Carcone. Coach Jaric guessed wrong that time. So Carcone out there trying to get another goal against Thompson. He controls off that face-off win. Got it to the far wall. Played on net. That went through the blue paint on the try by Cole. Up high, Carcone to the point. It's bunted back behind for Kerfoot in the trapezoid. Trying to shake free of McElrath. Got it to Stenlund. Up to the far point it goes. Cole a one-timer. Deflects to the near corner. And now it's going to be grabbed and sent out to center by Duhaime. On the near wall, Beauvillier for Strome. Fed it across. And now one hand on his stick collecting into the zone's Van Riemsdyk. But he got knocked right off the puck. And now it's sent out by Carcone to center. He'll change. And the Caps control in their own zone with 2 minutes gone by here now in period number 3. Out to center. Washington's Beauvillier over the red line. Couldn't get past the Utah blue as Sergachev played it right back to neutral, but on the blade of Faravari, who whistles it right back in. As now out of the far corner, Utah's going to try again. Out to center they come. Nate Schmidt from between the benches snaps one in. It rides the stanchion around to the near wall. Back out to center as nobody could get possession. As Utah's Jack McBain now touches it back for Schmidt to try again. He moved it up the far wall. No icing, says the linesman, as Yamamoto tipped it in. Thompson from behind his own net played it to the far corner in the Washington zone down to our right. As Utah is attacking left to right in this third period. On that far wall, Leonard able to poke at the center for Washington. Got a return pass from LaPierre, but it's taken away by McBain. As McBain played it back between the benches, Sandin takes over, played it ahead for Sordiff. Sordiff squeezes into the Utah zone, puck free in the near corner. Sergachev lodged it free behind the goal. Schmaltz can't grab it. Leonard out of the far, played it but right to Keller. And now the Utah captain will circle back in his own zone as he waits for him to change. Launches it now up the right wing boards. It's taken by Dursey. Dursey over the line with a shot short side. Got the glass around the far boards. It comes out to center. And now Utah trying to reset again. As Mata's pressure turned over. Wilson played it back in front. Dubois not there, but in the slot's McMichael. This way for Wilson. In the slot Chikrin. He wires and he missed the net again as he's looking at the ceiling. He's missed the net 3 times tonight. He'll get another try. Tried and missed once again to the far post. And this time it ricochets back out to center. Is Jacob Chikrin having a rough time here offensively for the Capitals in this contest. Has it now in front of the Utah bench. He backhands one into the zone. He'll stay out there. As behind the Utah goal, the puck free to the near corner. Pinching to keep it alive is Roy as it came back to him off of Dubois. Matt Roy at the left point. Backhanded it down low. Wilson got knocked off the puck there by Ian Cole. Up the boards, it's sent by Mata. And out to center comes Utah on a 3-on-2. Crisscrossing into the zone. Near wing Cooley played it in the slot. Here's Cole to the backhand, and he almost went showtime there on Thompson. But the puck on the far wall for Wilson on the rebounds cleared to center. As Ian Cole tried to go backhand far post, but it got punched away by Thompson. And now the Caps take over here as they make changes with 4.5 played in period 3. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Washington trying to come back in a 3-1 hole here to the Utah Mammoth, who control on the near side of the Washington zone. Carconi out there, bunted it to the point. Marino across Schmidt, tried to give it back to Carconi. It went off a TVR skate en route as now the Caps get out through center. Here comes Sandin, avoided a check and got it to Frank. Has a man breaking to the goal down, played it in front, save Vamelka. It's free and cleared out of there by Marino, not out. Left point Farivari, got it to Beauvillier walking into the near circle. Button hooks back to the blue line, sent it across now for Sandin. Sandin with a shot that never made it close to the goal, wrapped around to the near point. Farivari will send it right back to the far corner. Here's Sandin bunting it to the trapezoid. Dowd can't collect it, Beauvillier will. On his backhand, tried to get it to the point, does to Farivari. Plays it to the far wall. Ovechkin playing it for a tip by Beauvillier, and the tip got the glass. Farivari on the loose puck near corner. Up high for Beauvillier, walking the line. Beauvillier with a long shot. Strome looking for a tip, never got to him. Got his own rebound, though, on the near side. Dylan Strome at the left point. In the bumper for Beauvillier, who now skates to the near wall. Back up to the left point. He looks around. Beauvillier towards the net. Deflected save. Vamelka with Ovechkin lurking. But he will cover with no second chance given on that try by Beauvillier. So some good zone time here for the Capitals, but they were unable to get even really any quality chances towards Vamelka. The best of the bunch coming from Ethan Frank, who just had an area play on top of the blue paint. And unable to get there on the rebound was Nick Dowd. But Washington here trying to get this game back to within 1 as they've been hamstrung here at 5-on-5 for a team that's been amazing, being second in the NHL in 5-on-5 goals for with 138. Face off to Vamelka's right. Won by Utah as from behind their own net. Ian Cole trying to get out, has trouble with it. Now we'll try again. It's lifted out to center. And now Capitals will take back over at their own blue line. Chikrin on the near side. Ahead for McMichael. Tipped ahead and into the zones. Wilson, he draws a penalty. A shot. Save Vamelka. And Washington here, when we come back, is going to get a much needed power play. Down 3-1 here to the Utah Mammoth. You're listening to some Tuesday Night Hockey. A watch along here live on YouTube. Utah up 3-1 over the Washington Capitals. Washington to the man advantage here, down 2 goals in the third period, just under 14 minutes remain in a regulation time. They're going to need one here on this man advantage that struck once tonight on their only try, but overall, just 16% on the season. Not great at all. Next to last in the National Hockey League. But we talked about the power play in the open being a point of concern and what they need to work on to try and overcome their struggles. So what an opportunity here in this game to get your second power play goal and try and kickstart a comeback here. And only 3 third-period comebacks for the Capitals this year as they do win a draw and don't control on the power play. As a good pickoff by Stenlund on the far wall cuts off the pass to Chychrun. And into the zone here is Utah shorthanded. Kraus getting knocked around here, lost possession, Caps are away 3-on-2 at speed. Here's Strome over the line, looking to center for Leonard, but it was behind him and on the far wing. He'll backhand it to Chychrun at the point. Chychrun to Strome at the far circle. Gave it now to Leonard with a shot. He scores! Ryan Leonard picked his spot. Strome was in front. And the Capitals with the power play goal are within a goal. So based off the celebration, looks like Dylan Strome got a piece in front. As we'll take a look at the replay here, Leonard shot this from the far faceoff circle on the right wing boards. And it doesn't look like, Strome didn't get a piece of this whatsoever. That was a clean water bottle shot by Ryan Leonard. The camera angles, they were showing Strome celebrating the whole time. So like, oh, maybe it was tipped. No, Ryan Leonard picked the corner, just knocked the water bottle right out of place and splattered all against the back glass. And Washington, with the power play goal from their rookie Ryan Leonard, are within 1. So Utah heading back out to center, trying to reclaim this multi-goal lead. They'll turn it over. Backs Beauvillier on the far wing, over the Mammoth line. He'll leave it at the circle for Sandina. Shot save, rebound, Dubois can't get it, and it's loose, and now Vejmelka covers as he takes a whistle with 13:05 to go here in period number 3. So we're all buckled up here for a bumpy ride to the finish as Washington here is now within 1 following that goal by Ryan Leonard, and now pressing here for the equalizer after a couple of good tries immediately after getting that goal to go within 1. And Ryan Leonard here, a rookie for this Washington Capital team, as he and Justin Sordiff have been awesome for the Washington Capitals as rookies, as those two guys have done a good job to lead the way as Washington here has more points by rookies this season than they have combined in their last 3 seasons. And Leonard here adds another to that total. Washington getting back in their own zone though, but good takeaway by Wilson here on Cooley. Put it up the far wall and back to Mammoth ice it'll roll. In the far corner, Schmidt can't grab it, Peterka will, and he can't clear. It's kept by Ovechkin at the far point. Strome riding the far wall, now centered. Ovechkin bouncing, can't keep it, and now trying to get it out to centers Cooley, and he'll get some help, and it's out to the logo. So Trevor Van Riemsdyk snaps it on in now as the Caps top lines on the ice. Wilson joining Strome and Ovechkin here as Beauvillier's down now to the third line. As again, no Alexei Protas in this game as he's out due to personal reasons here this evening. Here's the Utah Mammoth. Peterka on the near side, a shot. Oh, what a save by Thompson on the rebound by Marino. Back it comes to Dursey. In the slot, Peterka shot. That's blocked by a Cap. Leonard's hurting as he's down in the slot, just crawling, trying to get to the bench. Back to the skates he goes. Meanwhile, skating past him is Barrett Hayton. Near wall, Dursey across it goes, and a shot by Sergachev, shut down by Thompson. Rebound cleaned up and sent out by the Capitals. And in neutral ice, it's carried in by Duhaime. Wrapped around the goal. Vejmelka wants to play it. He's bobbling it. Got met by a Cap. It's loose in front. Duhaime a shot, and he couldn't get it through as it shattered the stick of Hayton in the far corner. Now Kerfoot played it behind. Dursey blew a tire. He's trying to find the puck. It came up the near wall. Chychrun's going to play it right back there. It rolls through the trapezoid to the far wall, and in the corner, Sergachev fanned on a clearing attempt. Came back to him. He'll backhand it this way. And now Dursey will try and get on it. He looks up the near side boards, and down the ice it goes, tipped by Kerfoot, no icing. 11:11 to go In period 3, Utah clinging on to a 1-goal lead now. They have not trailed at any point in this hockey game, as Washington's trying to get this game back to even, as they're currently on a 5-game home win streak. Puck out to center, though, as Chychrun couldn't keep it in, as now it's behind the Capital net, and Ferravario reset up the near boards left wing for Chychrun. Chychrun at the red line, left it for Dubois, couldn't glide past Olimata, and now at center, Washington resets again. Here's McMichael for Dubois, gave it back to McMichael, poke checked at the Utah blue line. Schmaltz takes back over, snaps it far wing, into the zone comes Gunther, spins at the far wall, tried to leave it for Keller, but Wilson just outmuscles him there, as the Canadian from the Olympics took away the puck from the American, but now Keller gets it back behind the goal again, trying to center, it came free to Schmaltz, a shot goes off the outside of the net on the near side, came up the boards for Marino, he lost it, and now Dubois the other way at the red line, he crosses the blue now, left it at the blue, but outside it goes, as now Matt Roy has to touch back up. His team's changing, so he'll leave it back for Sandin, who now does a good job to make Schmaltz overskate him. He steps into the Mammoth zone with a shot and a left pad save by Vejmelka. Rebound to the far left wing board, sent back out to center. Rolling puck at the Capital blue line, sent back up this way in front of the penalty boxes for LaPierre. He twists one into Mammoth ice. Behind the goal, it's going to be Sergachev. Played it up, but not out. Kept by Sandin. Pinching on the far wall, now lost it. Mammoth back to center ice. Now a forward back on defense, it's sort of for Washington. In the slot, Dursey with the puck, and a shot blocked by LaPierre. Now it came in the slot again, and a backhander got blocked off the stick of Beauvillier. And the Capitals clear with 9.5 to go in regulation time. 3-2 in favor of the Mammoth. My name is Jaric Rubel. So glad you've joined me here on this Tuesday night for this watch along on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Mammoth in Capital Ice now, down to our right. Cooley stripped of it by Strome. Chychrun takes it and plays it out to neutral for Frank. Frank over the Mammoth line. Tried to spin free at the far circle, played it back to the point, but TVR got it poke checked, and now the Mammoth the other way into Capital Ice. Trying to play it in the slot to Sergachev was Mata, or to Cooley I should say, and now the puck goes down low. McBain centered it in front, came to the slot. Mata bunted it to the far point. Now Cole is shot deflected in behind. Now a bank attempt shut down by Thompson. It's loose in the near corner. Thompson regains his blue paint after losing it. Puck played to the far point. Cole snap back to the near circle. Cooley looking into the slot, got poke checked and sent out to center nicely by Strome. And a good defensive play there by the Cap centerman. Gets a line change. So 8:30 to go in the third period. Utah pressing here now after giving up the goal to go with, or to only be up 1, but they've done a good job in response. Down to our right in the Capital zone is Nick Dowd, playing it around his goal up the far wall to center its road, but it's going to be grabbed by Nate Schmidt, who goes this way to John Marino. Marino now up past the penalty boxes for a puck to be tipped by Kerfoot into the far corner of the Capital zone. It'll be grabbed by Duhaime of Washington, played behind his own net for McElrath, who goes up the near boards for Leonard, who got the most recent Capital goal. He skates up the near wing, can't get into Mammoth ice as John Marino crunched him right off the play, as now Schmidt will play it up the far boards, but he can't get it to neutral ice. It's thrown towards the net, deflected, save Vejmelka on a long flip shot from the far point by Roy. Along those far boards, the Capitals trying to keep it alive. McMichael got it free to Dubois from the far corner, played it up to Wilson, tried to glove it down, got it to himself far wing, behind the goal, Dubois centered McMichael, a shot, save Vejmelka. He bobbled it, but caught it on the second carom and covers for a whistle. 7:29 here to go. Third period of play. Who's going to walk out of this game with the all-important 2 points? It's a tight one between the Mammoth and the Capitals. Jaric Rubel back with you here in the late stages of Period 3 in Washington between the Capitals and the Utah Mammoth. Utah hanging on to a 3-2 lead as we speak, but the Capitals with the most recent goal belonging to Ryan Leonard. And Washington here within a 1, trying to get at least 1 point out of this game, and we'll see who comes away with the 2 ultimately at the end of this one. So puck in neutral ice as plays resuming here. Tom Wilson of the Capitals goes after his own chip in the near corner of the Utah zone. Played it around to Ovechkin in the far corner. Ovi centers. Wilson shot it, missed the net. Back in the trapezoid. Ovi can't grab it as it came free to the near wall. Wilson played it back to the point. Chikrin, a shot deflected off the end boards off Dubois' stick. In the far corner, Dubois on it. Sandin pinching down low. Puck came up to Ovechkin covering far point. This way, Chikrin to the near circle. Sandin rotates back up high. Chikrin in the bumper as a defenseman. Down low, here's a pass. Dubois shot. Shut down Vejmelka, and he will cover as he does not allow a second chance. So Washington here's come on strong in this third period. They're now out shooting Utah 24-22. We were talking heavily through the first 2 periods how Utah was doing such a good job 5-on-5 to not let Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals dominate like they typically do at even strength this season. And now so far in this third period, they've done a good job of getting more shots on net. They've yet to score at 5-on-5 as it was a power play goal for Leonard. As now off the draw, Leonard played it in front for Strome but couldn't connect. But ultimately here, the Caps much stronger at 5-on-5 in this third period, to my point. So the Caps keep it in as Durzi couldn't clear. It hit off McMichael, and on the near wing on the left side is Strome. Up top, Chikrin. Across for Sandin. Tried to play it back for Strome. Bounced off his blade. Peterka's out to center. Tried to give it on the far wall, but it got taken away by Sandin, who squeezes back through neutral. Now back come the Mammoth as Kraus with a takeaway, played it to the logo, but now Chikrin will poke it back into his own zone, and the Caps will take back over here at 6:06 remaining in the third period. Up through center is Jacob Chikrin. He'd like to get one as he's missed the net a ton tonight. At least 5 shots for Chikrin that have not found the target, and now he has to get back as he was going to change Ferravari's colors in, and it got off the side of the net on the far side, as that was a terrible change by the Capitals defense, but no harm, no foul, as up the near wing comes Justin Sordiff. Sordiff into Mammoth ice, got taken out of the play nicely by Mata. Around the goal it goes. Gunther can't clear. Dowd will keep it. Left it for Ferravari. Dance past Keller, but lost the biscuit far wing, as now Utah tries to exit, and Schmaltz will get it out. And now Washington takes back over in their own zone. This way it goes. Beauvillier past the penalty boxes, now skates into Mammoth ice. To the far wall, he plays it. He'll backhand it behind the net, and the trapezoid. Cole plays it up, not out. Here's Matt Roy back behind for Beauvillier, squeezed off the play by Cole, and now Utah lifted one, not out. It's free in the slot, and Cole will try again. Down to the final 5 minutes here now in the third period, 3-2 in favor of Utah. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel for this watch along. I'll be back with you on Sunday for the Stars and the Blackhawks. But for now, the Caps back through center. A pass for Wilson intended for Ovechkin was read by Marino, and up the near boards, he played it for Kerfoot. But now Kerfoot had it taken away by Dubois, as Dubois in his own zone fed it for Sandin, who plays one into the area of the far corner of the Mammoth zone. Wilson's on it first. Skates behind the goal, played it back up to the left point, Sandin. Across it goes, Chikrin bobbling it, taken to the boards by Carconi. Plays behind for Dubois. Dubois poked it away, but it now got taken by Stenlin, who's trying to clear for Utah. It came up to Kerfoot, who does get it out. And now in front of the penalty boxes, Wilson's trying to reset. He'll play it back into his own zone. And the Caps will get changes here partially again. Ovechkin's still out there, leaving it at his own blue line as he wants to head off the ice. As Chikrin will wait with it. Gave it now to Leonard, who plays it to center ice for Strome. Strome gliding with it, played it far wall into the zone. McMichael tried to feed it back for Strome. It got blocked, came up top Ferravari. This way Chikrin, a shot deflected, and McMichael put it over the crossbar. Rebound on the far wall, picked up by Yamamoto, and he played it back into Capital Ice, but they're right back the other way with it. McMichael twisting it in. Caps are surging here, trying to tie this game. Vejmelka stuck it up the near wing, doesn't get out. Strome played it to the back. Roy this way for Ferravari. Back to Roy. In the slot, here's Strome back skating with it, nudged it back to the left point. Faravari, a flipper in front, went through to the far corner untouched. Back behind is Roy behind the Utah net, trying to get it free from underneath a Utah skater. It is free. Now a backhander Leonard, right pad save of Melka, a sharp one, and now he'll cover as it came back to him. And now Sergachev and Leonard are going to mix it up here as these two are flinging gloves at each other. Sergachev wants to drop him, and Leonard's not going to do such a thing. And we'll see if any instigator penalties come of this, or if we'll stay 5-on-5, as Sergachev's not happy at all, as he's yelling at the official that something must have happened to him during the play, and he wants a penalty for it. And he's talking things over with Liam Maskent, but it doesn't look like he's going to get one. So when we come back, the final 3:14 of regulation time. Will Utah hang on? Will Washington tie? I guess we'll find out on the other side. Welcome back into the broadcast, everybody. Utah up 3-2 over Washington here with just over 3 minutes remaining in a regulation time. See some of you guys talking in the chat. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Swag? Very nice comments of you, Daniel. That was very kind of you to say, as I try to be as good as the professionals. Don't know if I'm quite there yet, but to say such a thing, I very much appreciate that. So the kind words are always taken very close to heart. So we're back underway with just over 3 minutes to go as the Capitals Sandin's back in with a shot that's blocked and cleared for an icing by the Mammoth. Believe that was Sergachev who blocked that down in the slot on one knee. And the whistle here with 3:04 to go in the third period. An offensive zone draw coming back for the Washington Capitals. So Sandin will stay on the ice here as he's been on the ice a lot, rotating shifts with both Chychrun and Faravari, as he's been seen plenty without John Carlson on the back end for the Capitals here in this game, as he's been out for a little bit hurt. As now faceoffs won by the Mammoth in their D zone to the left of Vejmelka by Schmaltz, as now in behind the Capitals trying to stay with it, sort of though, hit hard by Sergachev, as now the Caps do not, or I should say the Mammoth can't clear. Wow, I apologize. As now it's sent back out to center. And now Matt Roy will have to settle this thing down with under 2:40 now remaining in the third period. We'll keep an eye on Logan Thompson down to our right, the Capital netminder. Would imagine in about a minute's time when they have possession, he'll head to the bench for the extra attacker. Matt Roy got poke-checked, almost forced a turnover, did the Mammoth, but safely back with it are the Capitals behind their own net as they look to get a breakout started here. 2:20 to go in the third. Up the far wings, Leonard. He sent it into Mammoth ice while avoiding a check. Around the dasher, it comes to the near boards. It's played up to the point. Wilson touched to Chychrun, trying to hurry it along the boards. Can't, as it's back out the center because of Barrett Hayton. And now Chychrun skates back. Chychrun, an ex-Arizona Coyote, which is now the Utah Mammoth, is now the net's going to be empty, and a shot towards it right away by the Mammoth didn't hit the target. But Logan Thompson now off to the bench. 6 attackers for the Capitals as they're into the Mammoth zone. This season with 6 attackers, they've scored 5 times. We'll see if they could find the equalizer here. 103 seconds to go with possession. At the blue line, it's Chychrun. Long shot to the net, save Vejmelka. Rebound to the near wing. On the left side, Ovechkin played it back to Chychrun. Cross it goes Strome. Back Ovechkin, one-timer, blocked by the glove. Vejmelka, rebound, open net, Dubois. Oh, and it's blocked beautifully by the Mammoths, Nate Schmidt. And now sent down the ice. It'll be an icing. But Nate Schmidt saved the tying goal here on Pierre-Luc Dubois as he went down like a goalie to the far side of the blue paint. As we'll get a look at the replay here, Ovechkin with the shot, it got blocked by McBain, and then Wilson fed it to Dubois, and no, it wasn't Schmidt, it was Vejmelka who got it with the helmet. As from my vantage point, it was tough to see who got a piece, but Vejmelka moving to his left, able to get it here, right around the throat region, and keeps it a 3-2 Mammoth lead. So 81 seconds left. Empty net for the Capitals. Face off to the right here of Vejmelka. Dubois out here for this draw against Hayton. He wins it. Ovechkin plays it to the far wall that Strome will play it off of. To the back straightaway, Chychrun. A long flip shot blocked in front. Rebound to the far corner. Dubois on it. Dubois will trade spots with Strome at the far circle. Strome has it down low. Tried to give it back to Dubois. The puck was deflected by Marino, bouncing on the far side, and it came to Strome, who got it to Chychrun. Chychrun this way for Ovechkin. Ovechkin slings it to the net. Blocked in front. Leonard a whack. Blocked by Schmidt. Came to the near corner. Wilson can't hold it. Schmidt backhands it up. It goes down the ice. It will be an icing, though, as Chychrun will hustle back with now 48.2 seconds remaining after that whistle. So we'll see if at any point Spencer Carberry wants to use his time out here for Washington, design a play up here for his top guys to try and find the back of the net here and get at least 1 point out of this game against Utah. The Utah Mammoth, they've done great since the calendar turned to 2026 as they have points in 14 of their last 20 games. That's including a franchise record 9-game point streak. As Washington looks like they have indeed used their time out here, so to the bench they go, as their coaching staff will draw up a play that they hope ties this game. Now again, Washington after this will head to Boston on Saturday. They'll have 3 days off to try and get ready for that big game in the wild card race. Boston at the moment, I'll go take a look. They were leading the Penguins 2-1 in the third period. As looking at that game now, it's gone final, and the Bruins win 2-1 in regulation. So with that, they will go to, at this moment in time, 4 points ahead of the Capitals in the standings. If the Capitals could get the 2, they'll draw back to within 2. But at the moment, they're going to have to try and get at least 1, down 1 here in regulation time. Timeout is over. 48.2 seconds remain. And a face-off to the right of Utah netminder Kirill Vejmelka is imminent between Dubois and Hayton. Dubois 10 for 17 tonight on draws. Hayton 2 for 8. And off the draw, it's won easily by Dubois. Ovechkin bunted it behind the goal. Wilson trying to grab it behind the far corner. Backhanded it up to Chychrun far point. He hustles it back to Strome out of the corner. Strome back to Chychrun up high. Final 35. Wilson this way for Ovechkin near circle. Across it goes. Deflects to Chychrun, who can't keep it in. And now the Caps have to touch up here in the final half minute. On the reset, Ovechkin risks it in. Vejmelka wants to play it. He grabs it. Touched it to Schmidt on the near side. Up it goes. Down the ice it'll roll. And this will end up in icing here with 18.2 remaining here in a regulation. The Capitals down here to their last gasps of this game against Utah. And Utah will continue their 5-game road trip Thursday in Philadelphia as they'll take on the Flyers. As the Flyers, big win in the shootout against the Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday. They're still technically in the playoff race. Might be tough for them to get in, but you know they're trying. And they were pleased to get the 2 points on the road on Monday. Face-off won by Strome. To the back it goes. He tries to keep it in. He will. Bouncing at the far circle. The Mammoth get it out. 10 seconds remain. Chychrun has to hustle back. Chychrun at his own blue line. Turning with it. Played it ahead. It's tipped in, but out of the reach of any Capital in sight. That'll wind out the clock here in this one as the Utah Mammoth end up victorious 3-2 in a regulation over the Washington Capitals here tonight. So Tom Wilson, after the fact here, getting into it with Alex Kerfoot, as he's not too happy with what's transpired here after the final whistle, as a little bit of fireworks occur here between these two teams. But the clock has struck zero here tonight, and the Mammoth walk out of the nation's capital with a 3-2 victory in regulation time. So goals in this one, Dylan Guenther with his 28th of the year from Keller and Nick Schmaltz. As Wilson here still jawing in the midst of all this, being escorted off the ice by the linesman. But back to the scoring, Mikhail Sergachev here for the Mammoth on the power play. It was his 10th of the year, coming from Keller and Guenther. And then Pierre-Luc Dubois for the Capitals cut that Utah lead in half. It was a power play marker for him, his 4th of the year, as he's only played 11 games now this season. Assisted by Sandin, the Caps got back in it. Then late in period number 2, it was J.J. Peterka getting his 21st of the year from Logan Cooley and Sean Dursey. Also was a power play marker for the Utah Mammoth in this game. And then another power play goal, but this one came to the Washington Capitals, and their struggling power play went 2 for 2 tonight. The second goal coming from Ryan Leonard, as he was able to find the back of the net to get it back to within 1 for the Washington Capitals, as the assists on that goal for Leonard were by Strome and Chychrun, but it was not enough for the Washington Capitals to prevail in this game here tonight. So 3-2 your final. As Utah gets the big 2 points, they now hone that top spot in the wild card in the Western Conference with 68. Edmonton currently on the ice against the Ottawa Senators as we speak, down 2-1 in that game. We'll see if Edmonton could tie Utah in points, as they would leapfrog Seattle in the standings as well for 3rd in the Pacific Division, or if they'll be stuck in the wild card 2 spot for at least another couple of days. So that's it for this stream here tonight on Tuesday. The next time you'll hear from me will be on Sunday, as it'll be the Dallas Stars hosting the Chicago Blackhawks in a Central Division battle. The Stars looking to make it 10 in a row tonight against the Calgary Flames, as they set a franchise-high 9-game win streak last night against the Canucks, and they're going to look to carry that win streak into Sunday's game against Chicago. That'll be on the air at 6 Eastern, 5 Central Time. Again, thanks to everybody hanging out in the chat tonight. Colin, Daniel, Tim, Jake, Robert, all you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you all on Sunday from Dallas. Again, the final here tonight, Utah 3, Washington 2, as Washington comes up empty-handed and stays outside the Eastern Conference playoff picture. The Mammoth hold down the fort in the first wild card spot out west. My name is Jaric Rubel. I'll see you all on Sunday. Again, thanks so much for spending your time here with me on Tuesday, as the Mammoth defeat the Capitals 3-2 in regulation time.